Who are you?
In the town square, two seasoned gunslingers are staring each other down, waiting to see who will draw first. The protagonist's hands hover over his holster, ready to strike, and patiently waiting. Onlookers peek out from cracked doorways and windows, feeling the tension ratchet up, waiting for the inevitable violence. The villain of the scene takes aim, but is too slow. In a serene location, two warriors face off, blades ready. Their stances immediately show their confidence and mastery of their respective weapons. They trade blows, expertly striking and countering each other as near equals, until one fighter makes the decisive ending fight move. I could easily be talking about two different scenes from two different movies and two very different genres. But this is actually Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian, where Mando and Ahsoka Tano team up to take down the Magistrate and her guards. The action alternates between the two conflicts, making for one of the best scenes in the entire series. And it's in this moment that The Mandalorian exhibits some of its greatest influences. My name's Josh Taylor, this is 1901, and today I want to talk about the inspirations behind The Mandalorian, and how Star Wars got its influences from Western and samurai films. One of the most obvious influences on The Mandalorian is the space Western genre. While there are early examples of this, like Edgar Rice Burroughs' 1912 novel A Princess of Mars, the space Western genre didn't fully emerge until the rise of pulp magazines. In the 1930s, at the height of those magazines, Westerns and science fiction were two of the most popular genres of stories, and pulp writers would often submit multiple works from multiple genres before eventually mashing those genres together. The themes and characters of Westerns make a lot of sense in space, taking on the ideas of new frontiers and lawlessness and marrying them to space exploration. Early examples of this were simple, taking outlaws and lawmen and putting them on a different planet, taking away their six-shooters and replacing them with ray guns. But one of the greatest advantages of science fiction, especially when you take it away from Earth, is world building. Unique and striking universes were created for works like Cowboy Bebop, Firefly, and Star Trek. And fun fact, Star Trek was originally titled Wagon Train to the Stars. These all capture the ideas of unexplored worlds and dangerous settlements where justice had to be earned by the rugged heroes. The Mandalorian wastes zero time establishing its influences. The opening scene of Chapter 1 has our title character walk into the kind of cantina where murder and black market deals were commonplace. The music is ominous, immediately recognizable to anyone familiar with Westerns, but with an otherworldly quality better suited for its alien setting. Threatening bar patrons call him Mando, more title than name, as they begin to surround him, and he quickly dispatches them, seemingly saving the lone blue alien remaining at their table. But Mando's here for a job, and that blue alien is just his bounty. A dangerous man walking into a bar to take down his target is a textbook example of a scene from a Western. Everything about this opening seems like it could have been taken from Sergio Leone's Man with No Name trilogy, while also being immediately obvious as set in a galaxy far, far away. Space Western imagery can be observed everywhere in the series. Mando's gun belt and holster could perfectly fit in the Old West, but are filled with weapons and ammo better suited for the sci-fi world of Star Wars. Like several other Star Wars characters, he wears a cape, which seems to only serve the purpose of looking really cool, which it does. However, the cape is also a subtle visual nod to Clint Eastwood's iconic poncho. The shootout at the end of Chapter 1 looks and plays out similar to 1969's The Wild Bunch, with a laser cannon in place of the original's Gatling gun. Even the timeline of the show works thematically. Much like the post-Civil War era that most Westerns take place in, The Mandalorian is set in the period shortly after the Empire has fallen in the original trilogy. In both settings, we see the fallout of a civilization recovering from war, trying to rebuild and create order. One of the major influences on The Mandalorian are samurai films, such as the works of Akira Kurosawa and the Lone Wolf and Cub films. Based on a long-running Japanese manga series, Lone Wolf and Cub follows Agami Ito, an assassin on the road with his 3-year-old son. The story centers around an overarching revenge mission, but it's told through the father and son's mini assassin jobs and various encounters on the road. In both the dynamic of the two main characters and the way that this story unfolds, it's easy to see the parallels in The Mandalorian. Mando has become a surrogate father for the child, and while the main story has the two searching for a home for this child, that journey is often interrupted by odd jobs and random encounters. Kurosawa's influence has been a long-standing part of Star Wars. George Lucas openly admits the influence, and if you're familiar with the movies like The Hidden Fortress, where two peasants end up helping a princess and a general face down his old rival, you can clearly see the inspiration for A New Hope. Kurosawa continues to impact the Star Wars universe in The Mandalorian, which draws from works like Yojimbo and Seven Samurai. The actor underneath the Mandalorian helmet, Pedro Pascal, was instructed to watch films like Yojimbo to better get to know his character. In the movie, a nameless Ronin fights against two warring criminal groups, working to free the small village from corruption. Like Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name gunslinger, the nameless Ronin is another inspiration for the character of the Mandalorian, whose identity is obscured with his helmet and lack of name. And to be clear, I know that he has a name, but it's been used maybe twice in the entire series. His name is more of a fun fact for Star Wars nerds like myself rather than some kind of storytelling element. Just like how any attempt to get fans to not call him Baby Yoda and call him the Child or Grogu will ultimately fail. In Chapter 4 of the series, Mando and former rebel soldier Cara Dune team up to protect a small village from raiders, which is almost identical to the plot of Seven Samurai. In the movie, the titular group of samurai are also hired to protect a small farming village from bandits. In both the show and film, the hired warriors realize that the only way to win is to enlist and train the villagers. Like many of the gunslingers and Ronins Mando is based on, he often sets out on a mission or a job only to find something worth fighting for along the way. This is seen from the very beginning, when he was hired to bring in a target, and ultimately broke his deal to protect the child. One of the connective threads between samurai movies and westerns that The Mandalorian shares is the anti-hero that follows a code. The dangerous protagonists of these stories usually work outside the law, and don't hesitate to hurt or kill if needed, but they aren't typically cruel. They honor their deals and avoid harming the innocent, often going so far as to risk their lives to protect people. In many of the films, the code is an unspoken rule the audience determines through the main character's actions. In this show, though, it's made explicitly clear by Mando and any other Mandalorian, when they explain away their actions with the phrase, "This is the way."
This is the way.
This is the way.
It's immediately iconic, and just as good as May the Force be with you. It sounds both mysterious and wise in equal measure, while also being fittingly pragmatic for the warrior culture of the Mandalore. The first time that you hear it, you know exactly what it means, despite the fact that only the hardcore fans of Star Wars probably know the details in the code of the Mandalore. But audiences could read into the phrase "this is the way" in the same way that you could read into outlaws and Ronins having their own code. What's fantastic about seeing these genre influences on The Mandalorian is not just the impact they have on the details and plot points. With anti-hero westerns, the stories are often about justice and restoring order. The rugged man of few words takes up arms to bring law back to the town. In samurai films, we often see a culture in decline, with the era of the samurai coming to its end. The samurai have become masterless ronins, torn between duty and what they feel to be right. We see a perfect blend of these two ideas in the show. Mandalorians are dying out, and Mando begins the series taking jobs to earn back his people's stolen Beskar steel. And in his Chapter 1 mission, we see him struggle between finishing his mission and protecting the child he finds. His story takes place in a universe where the New Republic is trying to reinstate order in a war-torn galaxy. On his adventures, Mando does help bring order on a small scale as he passes through different towns on different planets, helping liberate villages from raiders or corrupt governments. His main mission, however, is smaller in scale and much more personal to him. He sees an innocent, separated from its people, with dangerous and powerful forces looking to exploit it. He also lost his family to war, and was only saved when the Mandalorians took him in. So for the Mandalorian, restoring order simply means giving a lost child a new family, in one way or another. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I recommend subscribing to the channel if you've not, or giving this video a like. Feel free to share this video on social media, help me out, help the channel grow. And if you're interested in supporting me in other ways, you can find different shirts and stickers and things down below if you're watching this video on your phone or on your computer. You can also look in the description to go to the merch store and find everything there. And if you're interested in exclusive videos and podcasts, you can support me on Patreon. I do all kinds of other exclusives over there. And until next time, thanks for watching, and this is the way, and keep moving forward.